Hi, Brian.
Hi, Anna.
Welcome to Authenticity, part of Sology Network.
Hmm.
This
Thank you for
beautiful
having
Monday
me.
morning of intense, energetic service work that I'm feeling in this now moment. It's been one of those weekends, as we were discussing earlier. I'm just honored to have you on my show.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
I know that you have other obligations, so we went on a little earlier. And so those who are not catching us now will be able to catch us on the replay.
Great.
I want to take this opportunity and shine your light. You're one of local Boise's own sound frequency, sound healing
Mm.
practitioner, intuitive brother. I am so grateful that Sarah introduced us.
Mm.
I wanted to ask you, Brian, where do you want to start? What do you want to share in this now moment? Do you want to share from the present moment? Do you want to talk about your event? How are things?
Maybe a little bit of all of it. I could see us touching on several things today. Um, I guess what I would start with, just to play off what you were just saying about the weekend. Pretty intense energies. There was a just an interesting slew of events that took place, and it really gave me an opportunity to reflect on some things deep within myself. And it's amazing to me. I'm always in awe how what happens externally can be such a strong reflection for us internally. So um, I've been feeling really, really great in my life in a lot of ways. And yeah, this last week and into the weekend amplified into some pretty big challenges and some shadow work. And it feels like I'm coming out this other side right now and feeling humbled and like I've gained some much needed clarity. And so it's always very interesting to me how when the shadow arises, there can be resistance, there can be um, judgment. And I'm learning more and more to trust in the process and knowing inside that somewhere within this experience, no matter how difficult, there is a blessing and a gift. So I'm now in the place of receiving the gifts of the challenges of this weekend. So
It is profound, the lessons, how we react, right? It's that surrender when we come from this place of surrender, when we're like, okay, okay, I see what's going on, what's coming up to be seen, what needs alchemized. Our higher self, these experiences, if we remember, it's just an experience.
yes.
I told myself that several times yesterday. I had a few interesting reflections and moments that I had to just keep telling myself, this is an experience for me, for growth. And density, when it's leaving us, Brian, it's heavy. It can feel heavy. Um, for me, that's what I'm experiencing is the density of this transitional period that we're going through right now. And so we can feel that in our bodies, we can feel that in those around us, family, friends. Right now, I understand from my own inner knowing is we're mastering the ability to be presence in form, to be the observer, to be the light? Can we be the light regardless of what's going on around us?
Yes.
And so many of us are
Mhm.
aligning with that service work, because really that is the service to
Yeah,
humanity.
100% agreed. I speak to that quite often, actually. One of my mentors and teachers for many years explains the true spiritual pathway as a walking of the dagger's edge between light and dark. And neither one is good or bad. But on the spiritual pathway, we're aware of both. And there is darkness, there is light.
Mhm.
And the darkness may arise, and we don't spiritually bypass and run from the darkness or deny it. We acknowledge it, and we choose the light over and over again.
Mhm.
And the more we do that, the easier it becomes. And so we reform those neural pathways in our brain to go towards trust, to stay focused on the light. And what we focus on, we increase. So the lessons for me have been, if we choose darkness, if we choose to act from the place of our shadow, it's like a black hole energy, and it just takes from us. It sucks. It doesn't reciprocate on any level, and it increases that shadow energy. If we choose the light, it has the ability, it reciprocates and it grows. We grow the light within us and around us. And so this is the true test, and why I believe there's some resistance to this awakening process that a lot of people have, because it's scary to them to admit that, yes, there is shadow, and there is suffering, there is darkness. A lot of people want to distract and go to entertainment and this and that and the other thing, but it's actually within facing that we come into a greater awareness that we were given the gift of free will and choice, and that we can choose the light, even though we see that, yes, there is suffering, there is shadow. And what I'm seeing more and more is that a lot of why that is perpetuated is because people are either consciously or unconsciously choosing to dwell in that space and to act and make decisions from that place of darkness. So my continued work is to choose the light, and to hold the light for myself, for my family, for my community. And that's a big part of why I'm so called to offer the work of vibrational medicine and sound healing. It really gives us a focal point, um, and increases our ability to, mm, like you said, come into the present moment and realize that we are co-creators of this reality. And it's a constant choice. So no
Right.
matter
In a
what's going
literal
on,
sense.
yes.
In a literal sense, we're constantly creating
Mm,
with our thoughts
mm,
and our intentions
yes.
and our actions
Mm,
behind those thoughts and intentions.
absolutely.
Brian, how did you get started with sound frequency and sound healing?
Well, I have been playing music my whole life. I always give my mother the credit. She started me on piano lessons when I was 4 years old, and I found an immediate love for music, and I started composing music pretty early on. I have some fond memories of my piano teacher being so thrilled that I wanted to write my own music, um, and went into honors orchestra in high school, and just knew that this is what I wanted to do. The pathway of my life was to play music. And I thought for a long time it was going to be a professional musician, maybe playing in a band and touring the country. And I did that for many years. And I got really burnt out, and I learned a tremendous amount. It was an amazing experience. But it got to a point where I was like, this doesn't really fit me. Life on the road, it was hard, waking up in a new city every night. The late nights at the bar scene and the big festivals. And it was fun while you're in the limelight, but all the in-between time, it was like these peak experiences with these deep valleys. And I was like, I don't think this is it. And so I took a break from the touring life and I really dove deep into my own healing path of healing
Mhm.
my body and increasing my connection to the all that is, to Great Spirit, whatever you want to call it. And it was at that point where I was gifted my first singing bowl, which I still have today, and I actually use it in all my sound ceremonies. And I'll never forget getting that bowl, and I laid down just intuitively and laid it on my chest, and I played it, and it just immediately feeling the vibration go into my body and into my heart, it shifted something so deep inside of me, and I just knew it was something, a spark went off inside, and it was like, wow, okay, there's something here. Because I just felt this internal shift into a place of being more centered and more calm. And that consistent waveform of a singing bowl has the ability to bring our nervous system into coherence and bring us from a state of stress and fight or flight into a place of rest and digest. So it increases the parasympathetic response in the body. Now, I didn't know any of that at the time, but I did feel it. And so I got online right away and I ordered like 10 more bowls. And it was all for me at first, just because I felt called to go deeper on that path personally. And friends would come over and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what is this? Those are so cool." And I was like, "Let's lay out and let me put them on your body." And we'd play them on around the body. And they were having huge transformational, life-changing experiences. Oh my gosh, I've never felt anything like that. So just on and on, these things kept happening that were guiding me towards sharing this work with the community, and with the people that I love in my life. And so over the last, I think that was 12 years ago, 11 years ago, I got my first singing bowl.
Mhm.
And now it's built into what it is today. And it just continues to grow and evolve. And I call it now, it's my ministry of sound.
Mhm.
So I just love to share it with anyone and everyone who's interested. Um, and it's a really gentle approach to all things mindfulness and meditative. And
I've had the pleasure of experiencing one of your sound baths,
mm,
and it was the it was deeply felt.
mm,
You know, I really was. I was there with Sarah and Laura,
mm,
really good friends of mine and beloved
mm,
sisters. We were sitting there and we all went into our meditation poses, and
mm,
immediately through your sound healing frequencies, I was able to just align myself and was
mm,
connecting with you and what you were doing and everyone around us. It was just perfect.
mm,
And I know that you have an event coming up here locally in Boise. I do invite everyone that's here locally to come check out. I'll share the link again, attach it to the live
mm,
afterwards for them to buy their ticket.
mm.
What can they expect from this event that you're having?
Oh, well, what I would first say to just tag on to your share about being at the sound bath and just a little bit about the experience you had. What that reflects to me is really my goal in a sound bath or sound offering is to become the meditation itself and to be a clear channel to allow whatever is supposed to come through me, to be expressed to the group or the individual, to come through. And so I'm tuning in to my connection to the divine and allowing that to flow through me into the instruments. And so you sharing what you just did is such affirmation for me that you are feeling in part what I'm feeling. And so really what one can expect is, hmm,
I'll be there with you in aligning and sharing our light together. I'm excited
thank
to
you so much.
really get to collaborate with you. Yes,
Yes.
continue. I'm just so excited and
Thank
overjoyed.
you. It's really just a gathering of like-minded individuals that are all coming together with maybe different intentions, but sort of a similar energy of going within and finding a place of deep inner calm and peace and presence in the moment. I don't always like to use this term, but just for lack of a better term, it's like a meditation hack. So a lot of people that I talk to, they're like, I can't meditate. It's really hard for me to sit down and get quiet. But the amazing thing about the sound healing, the vibrational medicine, is it gives the mind a focal point and something to focus on. So the busy mind chatter quiets down, and it really has the ability to just bring you into the present moment. There's no past, there's no future. We're just really here and now. And one of the things I really love, and I learned this in the performing arts when I was playing in front of 500,000, 10,000 people at a time, is we create a unified field. And so the more of us that are focused on one thing at a time, the more it amplifies the experience for everyone. And they actually have done studies and found that at concerts, and I know everybody's had a life-changing experience at a concert, that heartbeats literally start to synchronize. We enter into this oneness field. And so that this is one of the reasons why I like the group sound baths so much, is because we are all a part of contributing to the wholeness of what is happening, and it increases and amplifies the experience for everyone.
Mhm.
So I do like to say it's good to go in open-minded and open-hearted, maybe without expectation,
Mhm.
because it's different every time. And if we go in expecting there's going to be a certain way, maybe we end up being disappointed because it wasn't what we thought or what we hoped. So I will encourage everyone to come in and be open to the infinite possibility of what may come through for you. I've had it's an entire spectrum of experience for people. Sometimes people get completely blissed out and they have the most amazing, beautiful, light-filled experience of their life. And then other times people go really deep into their shadow and their struggle, and it's really hard for them to even sit through it because of
Mm.
whatever is coming up for them. And it could be any combination of that throughout the whole spectrum. And the interesting part to me, Anna, is typically they're all happening at once. So there will be somebody smiling in a blissful state, and somebody a few people down who's kind of writhing around and really having a rough moment. So what happens is it sort of can really bring you current to where you're at in this moment. And a lot of people tend to have resistance to that because we're distracting ourselves with technology and with substances or entertainment, or just overdoing and being so busy that it's a good practice of just slowing down and getting present with what is. So I'll typically lead us through a couple of breathwork exercises and some warm-up movements to drop us into the space and into our body. And then we allow ourselves to find a comfortable, relaxed position, either sitting or lying down, and um, staying with the breath. And we just drop into the journey. And it's pretty unique every
How
time.
many bowls do you have?
Oh, well, I have a lot of singing bowls.
Mhm.
I've been collecting now, yeah, for 11 years. And I actually work with several singing bowl houses in Nepal. So I've been gathering really rare and unique bowls. And I think I have about 30 metal bowls now that I work with, and about 12 of the alchemy crystal singing bowls. But I'll typically I'll maybe have 12 of each. So I have about 12 metal bowls that I'll choose for the night, and about 12 of the crystal bowls as well.
I'm so looking forward to it. And I wanted
Yeah.
to go back to what you said about expectation.
Okay.
And that is really beautiful that you brought that
Mm.
up, because when I asked you what should people expect when they buy a ticket, because we use words to describe and communicate with one another.
Mm.
And when we have events and what our intentions behind holding this event, and when I say what should people expect, it made me think of what other words may we use, to describe their experience there and why
Mm.
they're um, guided perhaps to join us
Mm.
in gathering together
Yes.
and becoming one heart, as you so beautifully explained, when we're all together in a state of meditation and aligning together.
Mm.
I know that you also sell gems and stones and crystals.
Mhm.
You do many, many things. Yes, because
Mhm.
I've seen you at a few art, festivals around here
Mm.
locally in Boise. And so, Brian, did you want to share? Do you have a website or something that people can reach you locally if they're interested in learning more about your practice and your mission work?
So I do have a website under construction right now. We're actually going to be launching it this month, so I'm pretty excited. And it's just rootedvibration.com. And currently, with the work with the gemstones and the crystals, I kind of call myself the secret garden. So you're lucky to find me when I'm set up, and it's sort of been that way for about a decade. And I do work with people one-on-one. So if anybody was interested in private messaging me, I'm always happy to answer questions and put together, a unique set of crystals for whatever your needs may be. However, I'm currently in the process now of reopening a shop. So I'm really excited about that. We had a shop for about a year and a half down off State Street. And through COVID, things ended up shifting, which was fine. But we're super excited now. Stone Song Crystals is going to be reopening a space down in Garden City, which is actually going to be at the same location that the sound bath is at this weekend.
Oh,
So
perfect.
yes, and so the location of the sound bath down in Garden City, it's on 33rd and Stewart. That's actually going to be the new home of Rooted Vibration. So I'll be doing all my sound healing offerings and workshops there. And then there's a really cute little boutique space for the crystal shop right in the same building. So we're hoping for a launch sometime early spring. So probably mid to late March, it'll be more official and I'll be posting about it and sharing. But so that'll be a place where you can come find us. And um, I personally, the crystals came into my life. I have mostly air and water in my chart, in my astrology chart. And so the crystals have brought the needed earth into my chart and the grounding energy, because I can tend to be a bit more ethereal,
Sure.
and they help me to really root in and ground into my body and into my reality. So I look at them all as tools, helpful tools and allies. Um, None of them are required or necessary for the path, but they can all be really helpful for us in these times, especially as there's just a lot of um, confusion energies lurking around and kind of things that tend to mislead people down paths that maybe, speaking of the name of your podcast here is um, authenticity.
Authenticity. Yeah.
Authenticity. So what I love about the crystals, and if I was ever to just explain the whole thing in a simple term, a crystal is never trying to be anything other than what it is. It's
Mhm.
holding a consistent vibration and a consistent frequency for, like, this one is about 10 million years old. So it's been in this state for 10 million years. Humans now are in this place of who are we? Where are we from? Where are we going? What's really going on here? And so the crystals have this ability to help us to mm, return to holding a consistent frequency within ourselves. And I believe we actually have the ability to attain more of a crystalline internal state,
Right.
which is the practice of meditation, the practice of mindfulness, that all brings us into a place that I would deem more of a crystalline state as opposed to a chaotic and dissonant state. So again, just all helpful tools on the path.
I love that. They do. They assist in so many ways.
Mm.
And we are, like you mentioned, of it, crystalline. We're becoming crystalline beings, right? We're going to become that state of, as a conduit, right? We're conduits, just like a crystal. They're amplifiers.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing, is we're broadcasting this information once we have cleared our channel
Yes.
to be a clear, open conduit,
Mm.
so that we can do the same as those crystals that you have in your hand.
Yes.
And we send that information out.
Precisely. One of the lessons that came through really strong for me about 10 years ago, because I'm an empath, so I feel really strongly. I'm always feeling situations. I'm feeling other people. I'm feeling environments that I'm in. So I had an amazing teaching come through years ago that said, so for instance, before you enter into a space, you get really clear and grounded within your own energy, and you set the intention that I am going to impact or affect my environment rather than be affected by my environment. So say I'm getting ready to go into a grocery store. Instead of being so sensitive to where everyone else is at and where they're coming from and the energy of the store, I've set my intention that I'm going to shine my light and be my authentic self and affect my environment positively. And so the more we become aligned and, like you said, crystalline within ourselves, and more of a clear channel, we have the ability to positively affect our environment and those around us. And we become more of an emanating source versus always taking everything in and taking things on that aren't our own. So as we strengthen our auric field, we have more and more of an ability to do that. So that's a part of what inspires me to do my daily practices and to continue to just become more and more aligned with my true authentic self.
Yes, and it's very powerful. And I thank you, Brian. I'm honored to be here with you now and sharing this information. The more, the merrier, the faster the shift.
Yes.
And the more that we gather and the more that we share and plant those seeds, right? We want to plant that seed. And that's exactly what you're doing and what I'm doing and many others around the world are doing at this time.
Yes.
Is that this shift is going to occur. This is an all for one and one for all. And when we realize that collectively, our perspective changes. We realize this is a team effort.
Yes.
And it's beautiful that you're a brother here walking next to me here in Boise locally, putting on this event. It brings me so much joy to know that you're here and doing your piece of this ginormous play and part.
Thank you so much, Anna. I really
Oh,
appreciate
thank
you. Thank
you.
you. Oh.
I know that you have to run. Is there anything else you would like to share with anyone who's listening now or the replay? Because this platform is to get the word out about Brian and his services.
Well, what I would say is, if you're listening now or listening to the replay, something that I always like to share with everyone is this is a really useful tool that I incorporate throughout my days. And it's something I really like to share with everyone. And this is just a quick and easy way that we can all become more present with what's happening here and now in this moment. So if you want to take your left hand and bring it to your heart space and just take this moment to slow down and check in with yourself. Maybe lower your eyelids, take a deep breath into your heart. Just take this moment to check in. How are you feeling? What do you need right now? What does self-care look like? What does self-nourishment and self-love look like to you right now? And just knowing that you are important and that you are loved, and your state of being really depends on you. So practicing this throughout your day, whenever you may be feeling a little disoriented, a little chaotic, we always have at least 1 minute to slow down and drop into our hearts and have a check-in with where you're at. So how's your heart? Anna, I'm so honored to be here with you. Thank you so very much. And I'm really grateful you're going to be there this weekend. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I respond to all the messages that I get. And if you feel called to be there, I hope to see you.
And you are, is Facebook your only social, or do you have other methods? Some people aren't on Facebook. Can they reach
Yes.
you via Instagram or?
Yep. I'm on Instagram, and it's just my Rooted Vibration is my Instagram name. And I'm also rootedvibration@gmail.com. So you guys can send me emails as well. And yes.
You have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you at the end of this big week that we have ahead. All hands on our heart this week. And I'll see you on Saturday. I love you, Brian, and continue shining your light forth. And I know that everyone listening right now can see it, hear it, and feel it, because I know I can.
Thank you.
I'll have you back on when you have more time.
Great. I will happily say yes. All right. Goodbye.
Bye bye, my dear.
All right. Take care.